Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, alright. McJibbin here, back another reaction video. All the things, click all the buttons, join the Discord. Um, if you want to join the channel, you're new. My name is Connor, hello. I like to learn about history through YouTube recommendations you guys have been great at. So down in the comments, recommend stuff over the Discord. Would probably be better and more likely to see it, but either way, love to have you. Let's start. Why did Britain refuse to annex Malta? No one recommended these. I just wanted to check them out. Let's go.
When a country asks to be annexed, the answer isn't often no. But in the case of Malta in 1955, when it asked to become a formal part of the United Kingdom, the answer was just that. But why? Why didn't Britain annex Malta despite it asking for it? So, after World War II, Malta remained a part of the British Empire as a crown colony with some limited self-government. As the Cold War got off the ground, Britain was under immense pressure from both the United States and the USSR to decolonise, and it wasn't long before the UK asked what was to be done with Malta since its position was somewhat unique. Like many parts of the British Empire, Malta cost money to maintain. Whereas unlike many parts of the British Empire, Malta was extremely valuable strategically since its position in the middle of the Mediterranean meant that it made a prime naval base. In 1950, Malta held elections and a man called Enrico Mizzi of the Maltese Nationalist Party was elected Prime Minister for 3 months before he died and was succeeded by Giorgio Borg-Olivier, whose primary policy was advocating for Malta to become an independent nation. The relationship between Borg-Olivier and the British government was made more difficult when he almost bankrupted the country in 3 years by spending everything on vote-winning policies. As such, he asked the British government for more money whilst also demanding more autonomy, which shockingly strained relations. So at this point, Malta was on the same course as most other British colonies, that of discontent and independence. Yet in 1955, Malta had an election which saw it elect a new Prime Minister, Dom Mintoff, who proposed an...
I have nothing to say so far because I know nothing about this.
Malta was on the same course as most other British colonies, that of discontent and independence. Yet in 1955, Malta had an election which saw it elect a new Prime Minister, Dom Mintoff, who proposed an alternative idea: allow Malta to join the United Kingdom. The British government was very happy with this idea because it meant that they could keep this colony and America and the USSR couldn't be angry because it was democratic. And so both sides quickly began discussions on how to annex Malta into the UK. The idea was that it would become a constituent nation of the United Kingdom and it would hold a position similar to that of Northern Ireland, with its own local representation as well as having 3 members of parliament. Now, Mintoff wasn't being silly when he proposed this, since he knew that Malta was instrumental to British defence policy and was fully aware of Malta's financial problems. If Malta became a part of the United Kingdom, the Maltese would have access to British social programmes, and they would have a small voice in maintaining British defence spending on the island. In 1956, Malta held a nationwide referendum on whether or not it should join the United Kingdom, which yes won with 77% of the vote on 60% turnout. So, given that the British government wanted Malta to join the UK, the Maltese government wanted Malta to join the UK, and a public referendum had affirmed the Maltese people's position, why didn't Malta actually join the United Kingdom? Well, there were several reasons. The first was that membership of the United Kingdom was conditional on Malta reining in its spending and limiting the government there to only a... Why didn't Malta actually join the United Kingdom? Well, there were several reasons. The first was that membership of the United Kingdom was conditional on Malta reining in its spending and limiting the government there to only a small budget deficit, which Mintoff rejected and soon afterwards resigned in protest. The second reason was that there were many in the British... Mintoff rejected on Malta reining in its spending and limiting the government there to only a small budget deficit, which Mintoff rejected and soon afterwards resigned in protest. The second reason was that there were many in the British government who
resigned his whole position or just his dealings with the...
resigned in protest. The second reason was that there were many in the British government who were concerned that Malta joining the UK would set a precedent for other imperial territories. And the third reason was over the course of the 1950s, British defence needs changed and Malta's importance as a naval base declined rapidly. With these, Britain's interest in annexing the country faded away since it was going to subsidise the island for very little in return, and so in the end negotiations were called off and Britain refused to annex Malta. And in 1964, Malta gained its independence. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and a special thanks to all my Patreon.
Thanks for the great video. So that's interesting. So I wonder how the surrounding nations in the Mediterranean felt about this. But so Malta wasn't doing so great financially, and they knew joining the the United Kingdom would give them that financial help and give them more rights in England and, you know, social programs. And what seemed good for the British was that it was a perfect naval base in the Mediterranean, but it seems as time went on, it seemed like less and less of a great deal for the British, and they were just kind of like meh at the end. That's cool. I love learning about stuff that I literally knew nothing about. That was another one of these videos. I'm going to come back with another one soon, guys. Hope you're doing good. See you guys next time. Join the Discord.